Why survive? Well, if you're generally apathetic, you might not be worrying much about surviving at all. You might even assume that a tragic and swift death is inevitable during a catastrophic situation. You might even further assume that a quick death will likewise come to your loved ones as well. But what if that's not the case? What if, like most people, you survive the initial chaos? Just like those poor folks in Katrina, you'd immediately be confronted with challenges of every sort. Always remember this, humans are incredibly resilient and we're legendary for our ability to adapt. If given just half a chance, in most cases we can not only overcome adversity, but even thrive in it. What you do to prepare today will not only increase your own chances for survival, but also the chances of your loved ones or some other special person in need as well. So when preparing your survival plans, always bear in mind this larger picture. I hear people say all the time, I'm packing this item just in case, or they say, you never know when you're going to need this item over here. The truth is, no matter how earnestly we plan and prepare, we cannot expect to cover every single disaster scenario. I'm sorry, but that's just a brutal truth. Even if you could, it would literally cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and be so enormous that you'd have to pack everything in an 18-wheel trailer. So what do? In order for things to remain practical, we must, obviously, limit ourselves to absolute essentials. We must also be smart, choosing tools that have multiple functions, which is to say, many of our tools should overlap or cross over with another tool's shared function. In addition to this, it's also highly advisable to build redundancies into your survival systems, and they should be organized in a way that makes sense to you and you only. I chose to build multi-tiered survival systems in the following manner. First, we have the bug out bag. This is an emergency 72-hour bag that will keep me alive while either on foot or while away from my main base of operation. Second, we have a bug out vehicle. This is any car that you can use to get out of the AO quickly and will usually be supplemented with transportable modular kits of food and water while traveling. Third, we have sheltering in place. This is usually someone's home or mountain getaway. Here you have stationary modular kits of food, water, and ammo to help you survive long periods in one place. Developing fluidity. Now, as the need arises, you should be able to move flexibly from one system to the next with relative ease. That is, from the bug out bag to the car and then back again to your permanent shelter. And more than anything else, you should also be aware of the interconnecting relationships between all three systems, the bug out bag, the car, and the sheltering in place. Not only that, but be aware of the interconnecting relationships between all the tools within those systems as well. Now that part is crucially important because this is the foundational basis for innovative thinking, or what in the military we call field expediency. Remember, no disaster scenario is going to be clear-cut. Real-world situations will most likely require you to draw from across these various systems simultaneously. In fact, you can count on that. Now today I hear a lot of people talk about guns and ammos. Well, bang 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 is certainly good to have around, of course, but that's only a small fraction of your survival tool set. In the end, it's most likely going to be either water or food that's going to save your ass much more than an AK-47, trust me. Listen, I'm just saying, balance your thinking and regard all your systems as equally important. Again, strive to recognize the interconnecting relationships between all your systems and all your tools. In the end, this will give you the ability to quickly adapt in an emergency situation more than anything else. Your mind is your ultimate survival instrument, and your tools are merely co-extensions of your mind. Okay, to summarize. Number one, memorize the layout of your survival gear. Number two, know how each tool functions and how it is connected or interconnected to the next. Number 3, constantly quiz yourself. Make up pretend scenarios and ask yourself, what tools or supplies would I need to overcome this certain problem? And make sure your wife or partner knows how to use each and every survival tool. Remember, if you get injured or sick, she's going to have to take effective control for both of you. Now, by doing all of this, you'll develop what I call fluidity, which is the ability to move effortlessly and very quickly between all three systems and between all of your tools. You won't get bogged down, but you'll always be on the ready. Even when you're in garrison, you're not just sitting around waiting for disaster to strike. No, you're always thinking, your mind is moving, you're figuring out angles, you're memorizing tool system layouts, and so forth. That's what I mean by fluidity. Always be moving and don't be stagnant. Okay, how much gear or supplies do I purchase? I get this question all the time. A solid survival preparation plan should be based on the one-third failure factor, and here it is. You can anticipate that in a disaster scenario, one-third of all your survival gear and plans will invariably fail, get lost, malfunction, or go bad and spoil. Folks, this is the nature of the crisis situation. Get used to it. This is the nature of Murphy's Law. Now, the remaining two-thirds of gear that you have already salvaged will be adequately sufficient to get you and your loved ones through any disaster scenario. However, and here's a caveat, anything less than two-thirds is courting failure. So your goal should be to develop overwhelming odds in your favor in anticipation of the one-third failure factor. So let me give you an example. If you buy prepackaged dehydrated food to last you, say, a whole year, don't let that be your only source of long-term food. Also store, let's say, beans, rice, and pasta in separate plastic buckets, preferably in a different location as well. But don't stop there. In addition to this, store some military MREs and canned food in yet another location. You see my point? This is called building in redundancies. And redundancies is a fancy word for backups. You're building in redundancies into your system. So if one food source fails, and it will, you have two other sources or two-thirds to fall back on. It's as simple as that.